During the Great Depression, thousands of Mexican Americans were forcibly or forcibly removed from their homes and sent to Mexico. Raids tore apart families and communities, leaving lasting trauma for those who remained in the United States. Deporters rounded up children and adults however they could, often raiding public places where they thought Mexicans hung out. Local governments and officers simply arrested people and put them on trucks, buses, or trains bound for Mexico, regardless of whether they were documented immigrants or native-born citizens. Approximately 2 million Mexicans were deported, 60% of which were estimated to be American citizens, according to author Francisco Valderrama, a professor of American history and Chicano studies. These were families, children, and people that considered the United States home. They had built their whole lives, memories, and futures in the United States, yet were told they didn't belong. They left behind homes, schools, and their dreams, being forced to abandon everything familiar. These injustices played a crucial part in the history of Mexican culture in the United States, their stories reminding us of the deeply rooted injustices that still, to this day, shape what it means to belong in this country.
Desriee Zamorano's Dispossessed narrates Manuel, a young Mexican-American boy that was separated from his family during the mass removals of Mexicans during the 1930s. The novel follows him in his attempt to navigate identity, displacement, and the fight for belonging throughout his life. Zamorano's Dispossessed portrays Mexican repatriation, exposing the historical injustice Mexican Americans endured. Zamorano exposes how mass deportation contradicts the very idea of citizenship and belonging in America. She makes it apparent that racism and systematic discrimination is what continues to shape who is seen as a true American. In one passage, Manuel is referred to as a dirty little Mexican. Zamorano writes, "He was little, but he was never dirty." But the way he used that word was as he was some kind of filth, like a potato that had gotten rotten and disgusting, filled with maggots. The use of such descriptive imagery transforms this racist insult into an evident example of dehumanization. Manuel's innocence, his confusion towards his blatant insult, reveals the harsh reality of systematic racism, further reflecting the injustice of how society viewed Mexican Americans during the 1930s as disposable, useless.
Another passage writes, "This country keeps trying to get rid of us. This country hates us. I don't understand why." The repetition of "this country" and the distressed tone betrays Manuel's anguish and confusion. Zamorano uses this to demonstrate the deeply emotional impact of systemic racism and historical injustice and its damage to one's sense of identity. Even as citizens, Mexican Americans were made to feel unwanted, highlighting how the repatriation altered their sense of belonging. This country that had come to it in hopes of obtaining the American dream, this country that promised preaching about equal opportunity, happiness, and success for all. The same nation that spoon-fed these Mexican Americans about these ideologies. The third passage brings a systemic and generational impact into focus. Horace recounts, "You know, it worked in different ways for different people. Some were actually paid some money to leave and given free flight to Mexico. Others were told that their benefits would stop. A bunch got on and left, even if their kids were citizens. Their kids didn't go to school anymore. Truly, ni de aquí, ni de allá." This passage demonstrates how families were affected differently by the repatriation. Through narrative, storytelling, and imagery, Zamorano shows the consequences of systemic injustice. Children lost access to education, were mocked by peers, and struggled to fit into either culture, capturing the feeling of being neither fully Mexican nor fully American, neither from here nor there. Mexicans were displaced physically, culturally, and emotionally. Not only did Dispossessed expose the injustices of 1930s repatriation, but it also reminds of how it still resonates today. Similar patterns of mass deportation and questioning who belong are still present in modern immigration enforcement and ICE raids, where families are separated and communities are targeted. Many immigrant families today are facing the same fears and anxiety that Manuel's family and other families who were subjected to the Mexican repatriation once faced. Citizenship means nothing on paper if belonging is denied. The same forces that fueled 1930s deportation, fear, racism, hate, and economic blame are still present today. It's our responsibility to ensure that no one forgets that history and that we do everything we can to resist such injustices.